Hi, my name is Monte Tilgner with the Iowa High School Athletic Association. This will be our week 3 training tape from games from this past week in the state of Iowa. We've got 9 plays to look at, and I'm going to try to keep it a little shorter tonight. So let's go ahead and get started. This first play, just talking about it's different when we're talking about obvious that a kick will be made, and that's a terminology we use as far as roughing and running into the kicker. It's totally different when we're talking about a field goal or try versus a punt play. On a punt play, if he's running with the ball and even stops and kicks it quickly, or bad snap and he gets it and quickly spins around and kicks it and then gets hit hard, we know that it's not obvious a kick will be made, so we're not going to have running into or roughing the kicker. When we're talking about a field goal or try, basically if he gets the kick off, then he cannot be roughed. So this particular play, however, we're at the end of the game. We got to also understand that if the player who blocks the kick is the one who runs into or roughs the kicker or holder, we do not have a foul. And that's what we have in this case. This player coming off the edge is the one who blocks the kick. And therefore, in his continuing action after that, if he runs into or roughs the kicker, it is not a foul. Now, if he had missed this kick and someone else on his team had blocked it, and then he roughs the kicker, we would have a flag. We would have a foul. So in this case, there would not be a foul. But let's just go ahead and talk about what the situation would be if we did have a foul. So if he missed the ball and another teammate blocked it instead, and then he roughed the kicker, or if he didn't block it at all and no one blocked it, but he roughed the kicker like that, what's the penalty enforcement? So just remember, on a kick play, the previous spot is the basic spot. So in this case, we are going to go half the distance to the goal and from the previous spot, and we would repeat the down. If time ran out during the play, we would have an untimed down. That would be an automatic first down as well. Probably wouldn't matter in this case, but remember, the roughing ones are automatic first downs. We actually have 4 plays to start out this training tape that are all kick plays. So this next one, just a reminder that if we have a blocked field goal, where the next snap is. So you can see we're snapping the ball from the 29-yard line, putting the ball down at about the 36. It's a long field goal, 46-yard field goal, and you can see it gets blocked, and this ball rolls out of bounds at the 11-yard line. So it's really, really easy in high school football. All you need to remember is a field goal attempt is no different than a punt. So if this ball rolls out of bounds at the 11, it's going to be Team B's or Team R's ball, 1st and 10 at the 11. If he would kick this ball and it would not get blocked, but it would end up being short and would end up rolling dead at the 1-yard line, then it would be Team R's ball, 1st and 10 at the 1-yard line. So pretty easy to remember in high school football that we are going to treat a field goal like a punt, no different. And in this case, it would be their ball at the 11-yard line. Next play is another punt play. So I had several crews send in plays, and some of them were ones that they had already done the self-evaluation for, so comments in there, and sometimes they'll leave the comments in there. And this is a good one to just show what they're doing. So just punt mechanics and rules knowledge is what we're going to look at on this one. So we know as we're going down the field, we want a good job here by our line judge. Just remember, as you're going, you need to have your eyes here to see this guy doesn't get drugged down or something. As soon as this ball gets kicked, our headline judge will go, and he's going to be focusing on kind of his gunners as well. So make sure we're not just running down the sideline, not looking anywhere. We need to be looking in at those runners to see what happened on that action. This one, we've got a deep kick. We got a fair catch signal, not a great fair catch signal, but we know that that right there is going to be enough that we're just going to make that a valid signal. We're not going to go with the invalid signal. By the way, line judges should be continuing to run down the field. This ball gets muffed and recovered by the receiving team. By the kicking team at the 1 yard line. So this is a comment by the crew themselves. Be good goal line positioning. Try to back up a little further down the line, not to be so close. The most important thing is he stayed on that goal line, which he has to do. If he could get a little more depth by going straight back, that would be great. But he needs to be straddling that line because it's very important that we understand all the aspects of this. There is absolutely no way that Team K could recover this muff for a touchdown. And remember, the reason why is a kick is a kick is a kick. And as soon as that ball would break the plane, that loose ball would break the plane of the goal line, we would have a touchback. So other things we have to consider here is, recovering of a muff. Yeah, if team R is first to touch the ball, it is a live ball. It can be recovered then by Team K, but it can never be advanced. Not a muff. In order to be advanced, it would have to be fielded by Team R, fumbled by Team R, and then recovered, but not a muff. So if this muff was recovered on the 1 yard line, so you can see he's got them on the 1 yard line there. But if this ball would have broken the plane, we would have a touchback. All right, next play, another punt play. So again, talking about releasing downfield, watching our gunners. We need to make sure that this is what we're looking at. Umpire, remember, did a nice job on this one. Looks like he steps up. He's only about 3 or 4 yards behind. He pivots and he's watching, action by these middle guys. So that's kind of where we're all looking right now. We continue, and this is KCI. All right. So we would definitely want a flag down here. You can see our back judge is coming in. He's on the move, likely to be stopped if possible. We do have a good angle to see. And just remember that he does contact him in this case. Makes it really easy to have a flag down. But he doesn't have to contact him. He just needs to impede his opportunity to make the catch, which he definitely does here. Next comment is, we do not bag a muff by Team R. Remember, what we use our beanbag for, we will beanbag illegal touching, which is ITK, illegal touching by Team K. We will beanbag the end of the kick, which is possession by either K or R. That's when we would use our beanbag, and that's why we would need 2 beanbags. So in this case, we really should have a flag for KCI. We just don't do that. We do give them the ball. They recover the muff, but we would need a flag down. We would want a flag down for KCI. What's the enforcement of KCI? Remember, it is a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. So this is where the kick catch interference occurred. That is a special penalty enforcement. And so in this case, they recovered the ball a couple yards behind that spot. Wouldn't matter if they recovered a couple yards behind it, a couple yards ahead of it. It's going to be 15 yards from the spot of that foul. All right, next play here is just a really good one to show why it's important that our back judges are focusing on anyone coming back to the inside when we have a receiver going back to the inside. Because there's sometimes when you might be the only one who's going to pick up a blindside block. And this is a great job by this back judge of picking this up. So you can see as this play goes, first of all, a few things here. Remember, we got a first down or second down play. And when we see this coming at us, not being run through the tackles, we want to get back here in the offensive backfield. And then this line judge would come back here. He's going to be looking at this action on the quarterback to make sure he doesn't get fouled. Now, the referee is probably going to be focused on this action as well because it's behind the line of scrimmage. Our back judge has to be looking inside here to see what's going on with these blocks. And he's going to pick up this guy here who's going to come back inside. And that is a blindside block. All right, that is enough for an illegal blindside block. Remember, he doesn't have to be, moving, full speed or anything like that. This is a forcible contact from the blind side with the shoulder. Definitely forceful enough. And our back judge is going to be the one who's going to have a flag on this, because our referee and our line judge are kind of on this action with the runner. So great pickup by the back judge. Talking about penalty enforcement, we ended up with the foul being behind the line of scrimmage. And in that case, no matter what, with that foul being by a Team A player against a Team B player behind the line of scrimmage, we're going to force it from the previous spot. And wouldn't matter the fact that this ended up being a loss or not, it would be enforced from the previous spot. So our previous spot was at position 5, and snapping from the yard line there. So we're going to go 5, 10, 15 back. We're going to end up back at the negative 39 yard line. And we have a play that ends up in bounds. So we would have the clock on the ready for play. All right, next one. Another self-crew evaluation. A lot more crews are starting to do this. They're starting to go through the game film, starting to make a playlist, share it with their crew to discuss these things. So this was their crew evaluation. This is their comment that I left on here. Did anyone consider defenseless receiver here? Definitely does not wrap up. I think it's a foul. As the receiver had not yet become a runner. And this question was sent to me, and so I replied back with the comment for them to see, which was forcible contact, no wrap up. That is a foul. So let's talk about penalty enforcement. We've got a completed catch, and we've got the foul occurring here by the defense. We're going to give him forward progress to, it looks like let's just say the 33 yard line to be good. So we would enforce this 15 yards from the 32 going forward. So we're going to go into position 1. We snapped from position 5 originally. We're going to add this to the end of the run. So we're going to go 5, 10, and you can't see it, but 15 yards there. And we're going to snap from position 1. Again, we would be on the ready for play. Next play we have is just to reiterate something I've discussed in the past, and that is that a block that starts out legal as far as being a block in the back or a side block, if it starts out on the side, if it starts out in the front, if they maintain contact, it's going to be a legal block, even if they end up with the contact being in the back and even a push in the back. So on this one, I'll just go through it once. You can see a good block started out here by number 76 of the offense. Okay, he's going to come out. He's leading this play. Definitely from the side, right? I mean, there's no doubt he's coming from the side. Then also, he gets his hands out and gets his hands on this guy, and he does not have an illegal blindside block. He contacts him with his hands. He just continues to drive him. He doesn't hold him. We could have a hold. Just because it starts out on the side doesn't mean we couldn't have a hold. But in this case, he just continues to drive this guy. He doesn't hold him. And the contact right now is in the back. But he never lost that contact. So this is going to be, this would not be a foul for a block in the back. We do see a flag that comes out here. Not sure if he called a hold or a block in the back. I definitely do not like it as a hold. I do not see a turning of the shoulders or something that's showing a restriction with a grab and restrict. I just see him continuing to ride that player down to the ground. So we would not have a foul on this play. Let's say we did have a foul. We're downfield a couple of yards for the foul, and the run ends up about the same spot. So we would enforce it. Maybe it goes downfield a yard. So we would enforce that, from the spot of the foul if that was the case. So we would go 10 yards from position 1, even though our previous spot was position 5. That would be if we have this foul downfield. If we have this foul behind the line of scrimmage, we know we would go from the previous spot and we would go from position 5. If we have it downfield, then we're going to enforce it from the spot of foul, and that would be position 1. Next play, we've got a really good example of line of scrimmage mechanics on a first or second down play, and why it's very important that our referee focuses on frontside blocks and blocks by pulling guards or pulling tackles. So we have a second down play here. You can see line of scrimmage officials punching back. As soon as this is coming at him, he does a great job of moving into the offensive backfield. He goes back several yards. Looks like he goes back probably three to 4 yards. And you can see a hold that's going to occur right here behind the line of scrimmage. There's action around the runner, so our line judge is going to see it. Our back judge might be tied up with some action here. He might be able to see this block as well. It is behind the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a little harder for our line of scrimmage official to see it. But here's going to be our hold right here. You can see we have a definite restriction there, kind of tucking that guy under and pulling him down and pulling him away from that runner. So excellent job here of having that flag come out. We do need to make sure that we get our flag in the right spot because this hold occurred behind the line of scrimmage, and therefore we are going to enforce it from the previous spot. If this would be hold would occur downfield, we would enforce it from the spot of the foul. But in this case, we're snapping from position 3, it looks like. Our foul is behind the line of scrimmage by Team A, so we're going to enforce it from position 3. And again, we would have this with the clock on the ready for play. All right, next play. This is our last play. Movements designed by the offense that are clearly intended to cause B to encroach, and that is Rule 719B, should be called a false start and not encroachment on the defense. So you can see they come up to the line of scrimmage here. The snapper has put his hands on the ball, and what that does when he does so is when these linemen go down, even though they're not in a three-point stance, when they have their hands, basically at or below their knees, they are locked in. So when they do this movement here, that is simulating the start of the play. That is a false start. Okay, so this has plenty of rule support. And if I continue, I did talk with Jared about this as well. We want to put these on the offense. This is designed that way. It's covered in the rule book 719B, 719 in several instances, kind of. It's covered in the Reddings book as well for high school football. Have a conversation maybe with the referee or umpire. But if you agree that this movement is something that is not normal, I mean, the team doesn't do this all the time. They don't come up here and then shift like this. So when they get their hands down on their knees or below and that center's addressed the ball, these guys are locked in. So now when they do this shift, it's going to be on the offense. This is not something teams normally do. You got number 5 here who's pointing. You got a coach here who's pointing, saying that's on them. And we know that that's designed to draw the defense off. It's not the same as going on 2. And apparently, to add a little bit to it, the quarterback used his normal cadence of go, which is what this team does to start their play. So, if he does that and no one shifts and does a hard count, we don't have a foul. But in this case, we would have a foul and we want to put it on the offense. So kept it about 20 minutes, a lot better than the last couple of weeks. Good plays sent in, appreciate it. Continue to have good pre-games. Continue to watch and scout your teams that are upcoming and encourage more and more crews to evaluate themselves and make playlists and share those and have plays they want to discuss, within their crew in order to continue to get better. So we'll have a great week, safe travels, and we'll talk to you again next week.